Hey guys, Robert Drysdale here. This is Mike Orr. Now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys probably the most common submission in grappling. It's called the rear naked choke. It's the most common submission in submission wrestling and MMA also. You also notice that it's by far the most common submission. Now getting to the back itself is like a different. There's so much I can show you guys as far as like how to get to the back. There's so many different ways to attack that position. But we're not going to get into that right now. Right now, I'm just going to show you guys how to finish there. So, basic rear naked choke is this right here. I have both my hooks in. Remember I was talking about upper body control? This right here is what I want. I want to keep my head on the opposite side my arm is. I don't want this right here. I want to make sure Mike's in front of me. Now, when I go for my rear naked choke, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to keep the blade on his neck. Not this, not this. The blade, this right here. And I'm going to wrap his neck. I'm going to get my hand in as deep as possible. I'm not going to put my hand on his shoulder. If I put my hand on his shoulder, Mike's going to easily grab my fingers and pull it back down. So I got to make sure I get this hand in as deep as possible. I even push his shoulder forward a little bit so I get my hand way back there so now he can't grab my fingers. That's the first thing he's going to go for, my fingers. Now that I got my arm in deep, I still stay tight. I don't stay out here. I still want to keep his head centered. I'm going to make a fist. Now the reason I make a fist is I don't want him grabbing my fingers. It would choke him if I went like this. But I don't want to make it easier for Mike to defend himself. So I make a fist. I'm going to punch the back of his neck. Okay, until my left hand reaches my shoulder. Now I'm going to slide my right hand on my bicep. And I'm just going to start, like I'm bringing my elbows back. And just slowly hold it. If you do it right, there's no pressure, there's no strength involved. It's just position. Okay? Very common way, a lot of people go for rear naked chokes like this. Now the problem with this, I make it very easy for Mike to grab my hand, the other one. It's right there in front of him. So now I have only one arm, and it'll be very hard for me to choke him with one arm. So instead of going like this, like everyone does, I want to sneak my hand in behind his head, so I never give him a chance of grabbing my fingers. So I don't want this right here. This right here might work, but normally doesn't. He'll grab my hand. A lot of people go for this. It's a very common mistake. Another common mistake, people finish like this. And you see this a lot in MMA because a lot of times the guy may know what he's doing, but he had a hard time getting his hand behind his head because of the gloves. So in MMA you might see this, but technically this is wrong for one reason. He can grab my fingers and pull my hand down, and I have to start all over again. So ideally, this is the rear naked choke you want. I'm going to grab my hand around his neck, get my arm in as deep as possible. I make a fist, and I'm punching the back of his head until my left hand touches my right shoulder. I keep my face right next to him. I'm going to slide my right hand on my bicep. I'm going to pull my elbows back. Just hold. So this right here is what I'm doing. Deep as possible. Punch the back of his neck and keep my face right next to his head. I slide my right hand on my bicep. Look at my arms. Okay, that's all I'm doing. And I hold. It's very important when you go for a choke, not only this choke, but every choke, is that you keep it consistent. You can't apply pressure and let go. Apply pressure and let go. Because what's going to happen then is you're going to give your opponent a chance to breathe. Every time you let go, he's going to breathe. So what you have to do is keep it consistent. I'd rather have you start with no pressure, maybe 10%, and gradually increase it, than go 100% and let go. That's not going to choke him. The choke has to be consistent. You can't give him a break. You can't allow him to stop and relax and breathe. No. So instead of going like this, squeezing and letting go, I want the pressure to be consistent until he taps or goes to sleep.